Hey, it's JW here. It's September 1st, the start of the last quarter of the year. And another one of those, I find that there are different opportunities to resume maybe your New Year's resolutions or to hit the start over button again in terms of what you have planned for your life. And I find that the day after Labor Day is another one of those ideal times to re-energize your goals maybe, and it's kind of a new beginning. And I think it stems from when we were younger. We went back to school after Labor Day back in those days, where today the kids, depending on where you're from and what region or town, they usually start in August, late August. So the town I live in started this past Thursday, a few days ago, August 28th. Wednesday, August 28th, and the kids went to school for 2 grueling days, 28th and the 29th, and then, with the Labor Day weekend approaching, they thought they should give them the Friday as an extra day because, again, want to ease things in slowly. Now, I know why they do it, and, I'm kind of for it, actually, because, the more days you get in early, and presuming you don't get a lot of snow days, which have to be made up, we're getting out, in my town, we're getting out on June 16th, which is pretty early. And sometimes it can go as late, if you get some snow days, it can go as late as like the 24th, 25th of June. And it can get pretty hot and uncomfortable. And not that it wasn't hot and uncomfortable last Thursday and Friday, but it's kind of a difference. Everyone's kind of used to this type of heat in August. And, the kids have been off all summer, and their bodies tend to adjust to that kind of heat. Whereas when it comes in June, usually it comes off a really, we've had over the last decade or so, we've had pretty cool, if not cold, Mays. So it kind of, summer comes like right at us. It goes from almost winter to summer here. You do get some spring, but not we don't have a great spring up here anymore. And so I think it does make sense to go back in August, and then, even if you get a couple of snow days, you're still getting out, the 18th or whatever, So that's what I always figure. We rarely up here get, even though we get, pretty good snowstorms, we rarely get more than a couple of snow days off here. It depends on if the snow's coming down during the time the kids have to go to school, or if it's predicted to be a major storm that's going to start midday, they might do an early release, which counts as a full day. So they try for that. They try or another one they use, which is a good idea. Let's say they're getting a snowstorm and it's going to, it's snowing the day before and into the night. And, they know that they're not going to have the streets plowed, so they'll have a delayed opening, which, like a 2-hour delay. And so instead of the kids starting at 7:30, they start at 9:30. And it works out good. And again, it counts as a full day of school. They don't have to subtract it. So I think 1 year we had like 4 or 5 days one year. I remember we had one storm that I think we had 3 days off in a row. And that was about, 5 or 6 years ago. But for the most part, even up here in New England, which is known for snow, and we're up on the New Hampshire border, so we usually get hit pretty good. Boston could end up getting 2 inches, and we could end up getting 14 inches or something. So we do get our share of snow, but I don't know, for some reason it's the timing, and as long as it's not one of those nor'easters that's really messing up, the power lines and things of that nature. Like I say, we only usually get a couple of days off, so it works out well. But I just get a kick out of the scenario, Sure, I hear the parents complain a lot when they see me. They go, "What the heck are we doing coming back for 2 days? Why don't we just do it at the day after Labor Day, which is traditional?" And I say I agree with you, but I kind of know why they're doing it, but you probably don't want to hear it, I say to the parents, because, it doesn't register with them. They're just thinking of the family situation, as they should, that maybe they had to shorten their, some of these kids are fortunate. Parents have a summer cottage or something, and that means they got to come back midweek on the last week of school vacation, whereas they could have had an extra 4 or 5 days up at the cottage or whatever. So I understand, but like I say, I'm kind of glad they do it that way, but I understand why people would be upset. Again, it's not the kid's fault. If you tell a kid he never has to go to school, most of them would be pretty happy with that. Although, as I always tell them, imagine if you had every day off, you'd be, you wouldn't be able to tie your shoes. You'd be so dumb, So and they look at me and they kind of agree, because it's true. I mean, you need basic education to kind of function in society today. Although with the devices and if you get an exceptionally smart kid, some of the kids, I call them kids. He's 19 years old, this kid, and another kid's 16, and they're brilliant. They both quit high school because their technology is their thing, and they're making, they're going to make a lot of money. One kid's already making, I think he's making $150,000 a month, and by my count, that's over $1 million a year. So, it's close to $2 million, and he's 16 years old. Another kid, he's 19, and he's not doing his high number, but I think he's even brighter, and I think he'll end up doing, real well. He's probably making, I don't know, $20K a month, and he's barely trying right now. He's just kind of experimenting, and so some kids, they don't need school. Other kids, they'd be lost without it. And especially for their social life. I know a lot of kids, I can tell, they don't have any friends. So at least in school, they can associate with other kids. They can have some contact with kids. And for the most part, I don't see a whole lot of bullying going on. And by that, I mean, I really don't see any substantial bullying. I see occasional kids pushing each other, but that's kind of normal, adolescent boy behavior anyway. So they seem to do it to some kids more than others. But, if I see it, if it were anything more than casual stuff, I always say something, Sometimes the kids have a fresh mouth in front of the girls, and I always tell them, hey, listen, this girl thinks you're, she may not say anything, but she thinks you're a loser, man. A girl like that would never go out with you the way you talk. They need to hear that sometimes. They think they're cool, and they need someone to tell them they're not cool. Their parents, they don't listen to. Not that I'm an authority figure or anything. It's more or less I'm a familiar face, that it's not a member of their family. I can't ground them or anything. So they tend to listen. And, I tell them stories about when I was young sometimes, about things that happened and how you can avoid those things. I just pass it on. I don't preach, and I don't, I'm not trying to tell them that they're bad kids because of what they do. I tell them I've done certain things that if I had the advice I'm giving you, it would have saved myself a lot of grief. And I can see it registers with most of them. Some of them just, they just, yeah, sure. But, sometimes you got to learn a lesson the hard way. And sometimes you can save yourself a little headache if you, I remember when I was young, I listened to some of the older kids who gave me some good advice, or even some of the adults who gave us good advice. And I would take it to heart and keep it in mind. And sometimes it did save me some grief. So, again, like I said in a previous video, I think all of that is part of my job, is to, just keep an eye out for them. We're all we're all fellow travelers. I'm an old traveler, they're young travelers, but we're all just trying to get through the day when you come right down to it. And the thing I always remember is you never know what that child is going home to, okay? See, walkers, I know some of their parents wait in the cars or come by and walk down and meet the kids. And some of them don't. Some of them look like they're walking a long way, too. Some of them are walking a couple of miles, and they're in the, 6th grade or something. Not that they're babies, but, it's a crazy world out there. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be able to walk. I don't know, sometimes I think I never see any kind of parental, participation, I guess. But, they could come from a perfectly fine family who just wants to give them a little extra freedom to, grow up, I guess. But, and I can see both sides of the story, But some kids, they just have that look, that they don't get a lot of attention. So I try to give them I always try to give the kids a pat on the back or, say a nice word, kind word to them about if they're wearing some cool sweatshirt or something, I always tell them, hey, that's really a nice shirt. Or if they're wearing a Celtic shirt or a Red Sox shirt or Patriots, I always make a point of making a comment to how good it looks, And I think that's important. Kids just need, I don't know, they just need a little bit of attention sometimes, and I can kind of pick up on the kids who don't get it, I guess. And then there are other kids, they just get attention heaped on attention, they're the cool kid. Everyone wants to hang around with them, and if the other kids are just basically following them, they don't need my help. They probably need the opposite of what I give the other kids, but I just let them be because, most of them are good kids anyway, and even the ones who are kind of the cat's meow. But anyway, I've rambled enough for one day, and like I say, it's Sunday night before Labor Day, and be back at you from the Crossing Guard perspective on Tuesday, which is September 3rd, and we'll see what the day brings. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon.